Do you have an area of your property that you just hate mowing, and you wish it could look like this all year long without almost any input from you? Well, then this is the video for you.
So I've been wanting to try out a robot mower for a few years now, but I wasn't willing to shell out the thousands of dollars to try one out because I have a big property and a lot of it has pretty unique terrain, and I really just didn't trust the technology to be able to do it. But a few months ago I was approached by a new company called Bestmow to try out their new AI robotic lawnmower, and they have a pretty smart approach on how to get you to buy into this new technology. They work off of largely a subscription model. First, you can try their Titan 100 model for a 15-day free trial, and if you like it, you can continue on for $60 a month for 24 months, and then you actually own the machine. And if during that time you change your mind and you decide, I don't really like this thing, you can cancel your subscription and simply send back the unit and move on with your life. And if you don't like the subscription model, you can buy it outright for about $1,600. I think that's a really smart way to go about this stuff because it is a new technology, and like myself, didn't really know if it worked, and I don't know anybody else that has one to see if they like it, and well, this gets your foot in the door with a low cost of entry. Of course, in my case, I did get it for free from Bestmow, but I was not kind to it. And you will definitely get my honest review and a very, very fair and quite frankly unfair to the machine testing of it to see what it can accomplish for me.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, you'll see what happens shortly, and it's nobody's fault but my own on why that happened. Once you see what this thing can accomplish, which is quite a lot, if you are interested in getting one, you can use my coupon code BENSING, and you'll get $10 off your monthly subscription, and if you decide to buy it, you'll get $200 off your one-time purchase. So what exactly is the torture test that I put my Titan 100 through? Behind me I have about a half acre of land that just 9 months ago was bare dirt because we put a new septic drain field in here, and I have two large sand mounds right here and over there, which has steep sides, poorly maintained grass because we were having trouble mowing it because it was so soft and we just couldn't get any tractor up it. Real steep. Some terrain is very steep, and then there's also pipes for ventilation because this is a aerobic system. So a lot of obstacles. Basically, it's got all the things that could give a robot trouble, and spoiler alert, it did like 95% of it, if not more, without any issue. And the areas that it did give me issues, I knew it was going to give me issues, and I just programmed it out afterwards. So this thing has been doing really good. I've had it do 4 full cut cycles so far, and it's done a great job. And the last 2 times it did it, I didn't have to interact with it at all because I had figured out kind of the trouble spots for it in my unique situation I'm trying to get away using this unit for. Could I have tested this mower in a nice, wide, open, flat area that even the dumbest mower could handle? Yeah, I could have, but what's the fun in that? I want to be able to test this thing to see what it's actually capable of so I can give you a real honest recommendation on something I can stand behind. So let's take a look at setting this up and everything that I learned in my effort to better maintain this area of my property.
To get started, you need to supply power to the unit, and there's a plug for the power station where it charges, and also for the antenna. And all you need is 2 outlets, but I wanted it to be protected from the weather because I have it in an unusual location, so I got carried away. In addition, the antenna has just a simple USB-C plug on the back of it with a little cover to hold it in place, and although it says it's IP66, I don't think USB-C cables are actually waterproof there, so I created a little gasket that I just printed on my 3D printer with some TPU, and now I feel much better about it. I did have a little trouble setting up the antenna. Initially where I placed it, I thought it was close enough, but I had to fiddle with its positioning a little bit on the post to have it capture the Wi-Fi signal to a level that it was satisfied with. Once I did have a satisfactory Wi-Fi signal, it then didn't turn on, and I ultimately called Bestmow, and in short time they identified what the issue was. Basically, my unit, being such an early unit for review, had really old firmware, so they had to do a little back-end stuff to update all my firmware, and magically in the morning it was fixed. Except, okay, I don't know what happened last night, but in the time my robot got the antenna working in some fashion, it went for a drive on its own. That's AI for you. Should I be scared? I don't know yet. So this is the area that I wanted to cut. I'm going to just program in the outer boundary and then put in the minimum amount of obstacles that are obvious obstacles, like pipes and the shed over here, but limit it to that. Okay, to start the process, you need to set the outer boundary. This will determine the area in which it's going to cut inside of. There's two options for how you can route that. You can drive it with the app, which I didn't really like, so I opted for using the pull stick method, which they provide you a stick and you literally pull it around where you want it to go. Very straightforward. And this is the original map of the perimeter of what I wanted to cut inside of. Next, you can program in what you don't want to cut. These would be the obstacles. And I have the peacock pen and various vent pipes for the septic system. I did think to then record the app a little bit on my phone to show you running the unit and how it interacts with the app itself. And it's pretty straightforward. You just tell it to go, you drag it around the perimeter of the thing you want to be your cutting area or your cutting obstruction. And when you get back to where you started, it'll kind of figure that out, and the done button will turn black, which you can then click on it, and then you're good to go. I think it's everything. Okay. Now, in my infinite wisdom, I didn't do a good job at the very beginning to show it doing its initial cuts, but here's a little bit of what it's trying to do in the beginning, because I'm still trying to figure it out. You can kind of see, but between here and there, it certainly did cut. And I have no expectations for it to be a perfect cut this first time, because it's a little high. And how these things work, it's just giant razor blades on them. But it seems to be doing a job. The future is here. Okay, what are you doing, little guy? You're mowing dirt right now. Okay, Mr. Peacock, don't get yourself killed. It's just a robot. Uh-oh. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Well, at least the peacock was smart enough to move. They'll get used to it, I hope. Ooh, he's got to show off. Ooh, I think he's into it. What's it doing? Oh God! Oh, there it goes! Oh, it didn't know what to do there. I don't know why it's going back like that. It's working on something. Maybe I should have added some terrain avoidance here. Oh! It is not happy about whatever I just done to it. Let's see. Here's where I am on the map. So it didn't like what just happened here. So it says to
Robot tilt detected, position on flat ground, then hold start and OK to reset. I knew that I was not being kind to this thing when I didn't program that in. And I think it was trying to travel over here to start another part of its route because it had some obstacles. And yeah, it almost flipped itself over, but it stopped itself. So clearly it has some stuff in it to prevent that. What would be nice is if I can add an area to not cut while it already did some of its mowing. Maybe I can. I don't know yet. But for now, I'm going to just reset it and see what it does. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it's not perfect. Clearly, I need to add this area as do not attempt to go. Oh, uh-oh. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like because I ended it and I stopped the mow and I restarted it, and now I'm telling it to mow, it it's starting over completely. It doesn't remember that it mowed that other area though. Oh well.
After programming out that cliff, I figured out how to set what angle you want it to cut at and restarted it. And now it's cutting at a much more visually useful area for you guys. And it just goes back and forth and cuts. And it seems to be doing a good job of keeping its tracking. And so far, so good. But here in a moment, we'll run into its first little terrain challenge and we'll see how it does.
It's doing stuff. I'm also learning I have it on high obstacle avoidance. And on Bestmow's website, it says if you wanted to try and do something like this, you can turn that down. I don't want to do that overall, though I probably should, because there really shouldn't be anything that it can hit. Okay, I turned it all the way down. Let's see what it does now. Oh, maybe for this first cut, that's what I should do. Just say, whatever, cut away, little robot. Really intelligently figuring out that swale. Well, maybe not so much this time. Come on, little guy. Every other time it's made it across. There it goes. I'm hoping it's intelligent enough to, over time, figure that out and plan its mow path around it. But I have no idea. Time will tell. Okay, so the swale's right here, and it's about to run into it. And it seems to have figured something out. Of course, now it's thinking, oh, I think it's decided it's too dark and it's going home. What the heck? Never mind on this video. I'll do it tomorrow. Once again, this swale really is giving its problems. It's like 6 a.m. and it started cutting maybe an hour ago, I guess, when the light came out. And I saw it on the app just going back and forth over here, trying to get across this swale. And it did that for probably 10-15 minutes and couldn't figure it out. So I figured I'd come up here and help it. Well, it seems in that time it got across, went that way, and then came back and it had a collision. It says collision detected and stopped running. So this time it didn't like how it hit and probably was trying to back up, couldn't do it, and is throwing a fault. So I will help him out. So it seems to me, before I thought it was smart and it figured out where the end of the collision line was down here, because I watched it when it was moving its way across, it would kind of work its way over and come around eventually. But what I think might actually be going on is in its logic of doing this, it goes X amount of distance from its line and just goes X amount of distance over, and we'll just keep trying to do that over and over and over again. And that doesn't work here. It needs to remember that it had to go all the way over there to get across. And I don't think it's quite as smart as I was hoping. Ultimately, I was hoping that it'll learn on its next mowing session that it would go, wait a second, this whole line gave me problems. I'm going to cut it a different way. But I don't know. So I think if I want this thing to complete, I'm going to need to program that as an obstruction and try and bring it really close to that line and have it not try to do that at all. Which is a bummer because I think it would be capable of cutting this if it just goes up and down it. Poor thing. It really wants to get across. Now that I have that path in there, it seems to be a lot happier. So for whatever reason, it doesn't like this spot. I think there's a low spot that its tire's going in, and it's just enough to set off its sensor for being too deep. Okay. So for the time being, I think I have to program out this area too. Of course, I'm not helping the situation because I keep letting it cut in the rain, so it makes this all the worse. But it shows the problems with this spot. And whoops. What's interesting though is I think the robot has kind of figured out that there's a problem here, and it's been coming to the edge of the hill, and then it's almost stopping and just like, whoa, I'm coming down the hill. And it comes down, tries to back up a little bit, and then just goes over here, cuts. And watch. It just stops. It knows something's going on there, and now it's trying to move around it. So I think there is some kind of learning to this thing. Unfortunately, I wish the programming let me just like right now pause it and go, let me just take this whole zone out so it avoids it completely and then goes back to its regular program. As of now, you have to basically cancel the whole thing and make that an obstruction and start over. And it's a little annoying, but it is what it is right now. I think that's something they might change or could change if enough people complained about it. But again, this is a me situation. It's not supposed to be doing it like this. Notice it tried to go around it because it sort of had figured out this is a trouble zone. It didn't quite make it, now it's stuck. But it's trying. I think it is learning. Okay, finally I think I've worked out the major kinks for this thing. Again, this type of mower is not really meant to do such a complicated area with these steep slopes and these crazy obstructions, but it's mostly doing it, and I'm really just showcasing the problem areas that I had. So let me go ahead and show you a couple of clips and various things of where it is succeeding and why I'm
really quite happy with the performance of the Titan 100. This is a really good spot right here because there's a lot of terrain change in this very tight area, and we actually couldn't get in there with the zero-turn mower that we have because of that little dip in there. And this thing's going up and over it no problem and can really cut into those contours quite nicely. I was also curious what would happen on this random cement pad that we have in the field, and the Bestmow just went over it like it was nothing. Okay, it's decided to cut over here now. But this is gonna be one of the spots that I'm like, whoa, let's see what it does. You can do it, little guy. I know. I'm making you work really hard for that one. I mean, it's pretty impressive. I know it's not happy about what it just did. I went up and over that. Now it's trying to refigure itself out because I'm making it do some hard terrain right here. And this grass is not happy because we've just been neglecting it. It did it. Okay, I think now it's finally doing its finishing pass around everything. Sang a song because it's complete. After it's full cut, cutting all that nasty stuff, I mean, it's looking pretty good. Blades didn't really seem to take a beating of any kind. I know they hit a few sticks here and there, so it seems to be holding up all right. I'm happy with that. I actually expected to see some nicks in the cutters, but they're looking pretty good. cut for scale.
So yeah, in my case it was a bit of work to get it to do what I wanted it to do, but overall the performance of Bestmow's Titan 100 is quite spectacular. It's a breeze to set up the mapping and put the perimeter of the area you want to cut and then add in the various obstacles that you wanted to avoid. And unless you have some kind of steep terrain or unique feature that it might struggle with, that you might need to later program out of it because it's just a little over its capacity, you can just pretty much set this thing and forget about it. That's what I've done for the last 2 times now that I have it working the way I want it. I really doubted that it was going to be able to do even half of what it did. I thought it was going to have a heck of a time with these slopes and I would really just get the flats out of this and I'd still have been happy in my situation. But here it is doing probably more than 95% of the grass, and I only had to program out 2 little areas that were just too beat up from us trying to mow it with our tractor and squishing the land in all kinds of terrible ways. And otherwise it's cutting all of this for us. And now I'm thinking about where else can I get this to travel off to and cut for me in the days that it's not working now. Again, if you're interested in trying out the Bestmow's Titan 100, you can go to their website, which I have a link down in the description. You can use my coupon code BENSING for $10 off a month or $200 off a one-time purchase. I hope you found this video useful, and as always, have a good one.